prison ministry, preaching in other ways, in the Sunday school, also taking care in our ISKCON of Central New Jersey, pillar, and taking care of Sunday school and other services. So let us welcome with loud Haribol. Haribol, Haribol,
Thank you.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you everybody for joining. I know it's New Year's Eve weekend and people have so many programs, but I really appreciate that you all are here 8 o'clock in the morning to listen to our Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So I thank you very much all again, and I offer my humble obeisances to all of you. Srila Prabhupada. So I'll begin by doing the invocation prayers. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमदे भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारणे हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। So, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवी सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्। Srila Prabhupada. So thank you again, and I hope and pray that this session is so useful to all of us in some way, again, to hear the chapters 10, 11, and 12 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. I pray that I speak the right words as are taught to us by our Acharya Srila Prabhupada. And I pray that it purifies my heart and also it gives pleasure to you all as Vaishnavas, devotees. So thank you again. And, most of us have been reading and studying Bhagavad Gita for quite a while here. Like on this Sangha, I don't think anybody's new. So I feel a little bit, small today because chapter 10, 11, 12, everybody is very well aware of. And I'm going to try my best to bring out some special points so that we can feel reconnected again to these chapters, even though we have read them so many times. And honestly, I've been sick, so I did not make any slides or anything like that. So you just have to listen. I hope everybody is peacefully situated and peacefully listening. In the index of Bhagavad Gita as it is, Srila Prabhupada gives chapter summaries in just 3 lines. And I will read that first for the 10th chapter. So the 10th chapter is the opulence of the absolute, or in Sanskrit it's called Vibhuti Yoga. So Krishna is going to explain his Vibhutis. And Srila Prabhupada writes in the summary that all wondrous phenomena showing power, beauty, grandeur, or sublimity, either in the material world or in the spiritual world, are but partial manifestations of Krishna's divine energies and opulence. As the supreme cause of all causes and the support and essence of everything, Krishna is the supreme object of worship for all beings. And what else can be said about this summary? Srila Prabhupada has really brought in the most essential lesson of this chapter, that Krishna is the cause of all causes, and his universality. It's something to be noticed, something to be meditated upon with the help of this chapter. Because as Prabhupada mentions here, everything that emanates in this world or in the other world, it's all a part of either Krishna's energies or his opulence that is being that is being pervading throughout this universe. And the way Krishna describes his vibhutis, there is no one who will disagree, no matter what background they're coming from, that the manifestations that we see are the most sublime, divine manifestation on earth. And that way, Krishna's universality is being very well established in this chapter. So we can focus on some of the verses, and this chapter is basically great for meditation, because Krishna, first of all, this chapter has the most essential um, Chatushloki, um, the four shlokas that the most sense of all the Bhagavad Gita. I mean, in one sense, Bhagavad Gita is such a wonderful thing that there are so many verses that we can say, oh, this is the most essential part of Bhagavad Gita. This is the most essential part of the Gita, and this is the Chatushloki, this is the Dvishoki, or whatever we can say. So there are different, I would say, sets of most important verses. But in the chapter 10, especially, Srila Prabhupada mentions that there are four verses which are the most essential. And I will quickly recite them. So the first one is 10.8, 10.9, 10.10, and 10.11. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. मच्चित्ता मद्गतप्राणा बोधयन्ता परस्परं कथयन्तश्च मां नित्यं तुष्यन्ति च रमन्ति च. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me, and their lives are fully dedicated to me, to my service. And they derive great pleasure and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. तेषां सततयुक्तानां भजतां प्रीतिपूर्वकं ददामि बुद्धियोगं तं येन माम् उपयान्ति ते. To show to those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. तेषाम् एव अनुकम्पार्थम् अहम् अज्ञानजं तमः नाशयामि आत्मभावस्थो ज्ञानदीपेन भास्वताम्. To show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. And I was meditating on this. Actually, the program that Srila Prabhupada has given to us, the Sadhana Bhakti in ISKCON, is actually reflected in these four verses as the most essential of the Bhagavad Gita, as the most essential of the Vaishnava sadhana bhakti. Because if you see the first one, it says Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo, and there's a whole big philosophy under that when Krishna says that I am the source of everything. So Srila Prabhupada has given us this philosophy to learn, to study, to understand in our lives. And in that way, we are actually trying to implement verse number 8, that how Krishna is the source of everything we learn. So through Srila Prabhupada's books, because Srila Prabhupada has not only written the books, but he has created different platforms in Sadhu Sangha, by which we are able to have this opportunity to learn. So in that sense, we are implementing this particular instruction. And in the second instruction, when Krishna says that my devotees, they gather together and their hearts are really dedicated to me. Their bodies are dedicated to my service. And what they do is they come together and they help each other in understanding about me, and they enlighten each other, and they find joy in helping each other. They find joy in discussing about me. And that's what we do all the time. We are, under the shelter of ISKCON, especially in central New Jersey. We are coming together, and we are always listening to each other, enlightening each other through these discussions. And this way, I feel like Srila Prabhupada has given this particular verse to implement. And then Krishna says that Tesham Satata Yuktanam, like I will take charge of those devotees who are in this way dedicated to me, because I will give them the understanding. And then I will not only give them the understanding, but I will remove their ignorance, and I'll take full charge of them. And that's what we experience in this world, in this Sangha, that so many of us have experienced from time to time. Srila Prabhupada, I'm sorry, my son is making a little trouble. So, yeah, from time to time, we have so many experiences that devotees have realizations, devotees have understood the essence of Krishna. And in that way, many of the devotees also sometimes leave the bodies with full understanding. And we have seen how much mercy Krishna shows upon them, either in life or at the time of death. So, in that way, these four Chatushlokas is actually the powerful bhakti program that Srila Prabhupada has given us. And I thought we could, reflect on that as we talk about chapter 10 today. And other than that, in the 10th chapter, Krishna, he starts mentioning about his opulences. And he says, I will tell you, in the 19th verse, he starts, Sri Bhagavan Vacha. Can we please, 1 second? I don't know why my son is giving me trouble. So he just,
Go ahead, you can take a minute. Yeah,
yeah,
go
but
ahead.
if you open the door, what do you want?
Go ahead.
1 second, sorry. Neil, what do you want?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Hare. 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 Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Ram.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Mataji.
So I was talking about verse 19, where Krishna starts speaking about his opulences. He says that Hatante Shami Divya hi Atma Vibhutayaha Pradhanyataha Kurushreshtha Na Asti Anyo Vistarasya Me. He says that I will tell you only my most splendorous manifestations, but only of those which are most prominent, because my opulence is limitless. So, I was thinking that, we could take some of these meditations upon the opulences that Krishna is describing. And I have this wonderful book which is written by Urmila Mataji. Its name is Krishna Meditations, Finding the Divine in All Aspects of Life. And there she has spent a good amount of space just discussing some of these uh, opulences that Krishna is describing, and she's giving like a small paragraphs upon each of them. So I was thinking that for some time we can read and meditate upon these writings, and that will also sometimes clarify, because I don't know, some of you have any questions, but sometimes we feel a little questions when Krishna says that I represent the feminine characters or things like that. So these meditations might clarify some of our questions. So let's try. Um, I wanted to pick up first in the beginning one of these. Um, uh, the very next verse from that. The one that I read just now was 19, and the 20th verse is Aham Atma Gudakesha Sarva Bhutashaya Sthitah Aham Adishya Madhyam Cha Bhutanam Antameva Cha. So Krishna says that I am the super soul, and especially for our meditation here, it says, I am the beginning, I am the middle, and I'm the end of all living beings. And what Mataji is writing here is how he's the beginning, how he's the middle, and how he's the end. So let's try to read the middle part. Like when Krishna says, I'm the middle of all the living beings. What does that mean? Is he in the middle of my life, or is he in my middle age, or how it is? So let's see. The middle is an interesting position. The roof of our house is held up by the middle beam. The keystone in an arc is the middle stone that keeps the arc together. In the middle of a sandwich is where the most juiciest part is. Some children eat the middle of the slice of the bread and leave the sides, the crust. So a novel has its climax somewhere in the middle of the story. Going on a journey might mean many hours of traveling, getting to our destination, and then returning home. But in the middle, we experience the reason for traveling. So Krishna says that he's the middle. He is the pillars and beams that keep our spiritual lives upright and intact. Krishna is the juicy part of our life, like our sandwich. When we are on the mountain top between climbing up and going down, Krishna is the joy we feel at the view, which means in our lives when we go up and down and when we have these moments of realization about Krishna, those are the middle points of our lives. He's at the climax of the story and the purpose of our round trip journeys. As the maintainer of the universe, he is the middle between the creation and destruction. So there is a lot to remember, especially, when we relate it to our personal lives. He's definitely the very big middle support of our lives because we have childhood, youth, old age, and we have this spiritual journey that's going on. But he's definitely the unseen support as the beam of our lives. So it's a beautiful reflection. And then how Krishna is the end. Um, so it is mentioned that endings may remind us of a used item that breaks, um, or endings aren't always bad. We may experience the end of pain if we take the right medication or diet or herbs. A loved one fighting pain and illness is released from bodily suffering at death. And sometimes we experience that in the summer, the blistering heat of summer comes to an end with the cool breeze of autumn. Family may be holding their breath for the birth of their first child, and after 9 months, the waiting is finally over when the little baby cries. When We may nervously await the final exam results in the school, and when the results are released, we finally breathe a sigh of relief. So, whether the end is something we most fear or we most yearn for, or we find most relief in, Krishna is there. So, when Krishna says, I am the end, it's always not negative. There are so many good things that end, and so many good things that we wait for to end. So, every time in those moments, in those life experiences, we can find Krishna. So, even in Krishna's spiritual pastimes, there is something akin to endings, even though there is no time in Krishna's world as we understand it. The gopis yearn for Krishna's association, a yearning that ends when he meets them in secret at the rasa dance. The cowherd boys' anxieties ended many times when Krishna saves them, for instance, from the forest fire or Aghasura's belly. The oldest residents of Vrindavan wait all day for the end of Krishna's time in the forest so they can see him again. And the Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken only at the end of Parikshit Maharaj's life to enlighten him. So Krishna himself is the very end of all things. We may not always find it a lovely experience right away, but eventually we see how one thing's end is another thing's beginning. Krishna is there in all endings and beginnings. The Supreme Author is fully aware of how each part of our story will end. All we have to do is agree to be part of his divine tale. So, again, seeing this beautiful concept of ending, that, how we began our yatra here in ISKCON Central New Jersey with all the association of devotees, so many bad things or so many undesirable things in our lives ended because we took the association, we took the bhakti path. And we can also yearn to end some um, of our this particular journey's aspect so that we can start a more bhakti oriented life. So there are so many ways and we can see Krishna in the endings. It's not always negative. So I thought I'll just mention those two because this particular aspect that Krishna says that I'm the beginning and middle of all the living beings is very interesting. And then I was thinking we can take like something like a slightly difficult verse and see what Mataji writes on that. So let me turn some pages here. And let's come to that point where Krishna says that time to turn the pages. So if we go to verse 34, Krishna says that Mrityu sarvaharaschaham udbhavas cha bhavishyatam kirtihi shri vak chyonarinam smritir medha dhruti kshama. So he says that I am the all-devouring death and I am the generating principle of all that yet to be. Among women, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. So, how do we understand the fame in women? Krishna says, I am the fame, kirtihi. Krishna says, I am the kirti among women. So, what does that mean? So, it's explained that kirti relates to fame in the sense of a glorious reputation, particularly regarding speaking about someone. When we speak well of others, thus spreading their fame, Krishna wishes that we do so in a way that uplifts those who hear us, as well as the person we glorify. Our speech should be truthful, pleasing, and beneficial. And when we speak in such a way, Krishna is pleased and present. Now, although this opulence is considered feminine because Krishna says, among Nari means three, and he says, among women, I am the fame. So even though this particular opulence is considered as feminine by Krishna, when we find anyone, either male or female, glorified or famous in a way that uplifts others, our awareness of Krishna can deepen. At the same time, we might ask why Krishna particularly identifies himself as fame in women, as he says, Narinam. Krishna's statement serves to make us thoughtful about how the Lord views souls who are in female form. In general, selfish people tend to exploit those who hold less power than them. For example, humans exploit animals, and less powerful people, and stronger animals exploit weaker animals. Thus, there is a tendency for males sometimes to exploit females, seeing females not only as souls with their own glorious qualities and actions, but as objects of their own pleasure. In fact, the Shastra is full of stern warnings to men not to see women as objects of sense enjoyment. As such, a mentality is always a gateway to degradation. So Krishna is personally present whenever women are glorified with respect and genuine admiration. Those who thus praise women are dealing directly with Krishna. Or not only praise, but I would say respect. Like, in general, in the society, in the family, when women are respected, they're glorified and there Krishna is present. The women being praised or respected is direct respect to Krishna, who wishes that we appreciate each other rather than becoming proud of the fame that superficially is due to our own credit. So that's kind of a lesson. And in the scriptures, there are many famous women who the sages glorify. Gandhari is famous as a great performer of austerity for her voluntary blindness. Kunti is famous for her devotion to Krishna, her tolerance in the face of adversity, and her deep, beautiful prayers. Saraswati is famous as the goddess of both arts and music and wisdom. Bali Maharaja's wife is famous for her frank speech in front of Lord Brahma. Krishna is the fame of such women, past or present. And Krishna is like a sari that Krishna is the sari that I don't know what it says, but it says Krishna is like the sari he supplied to Draupadi, clothing these women in honor and reminding us that women have their own individual excellence. So this is the kind of things that clarify our doubts that what is this Krishna saying I'm fame among women, what does it mean? So this is the beautiful, I mean, we can keep reading forever, but we have to also touch upon the other um, chapters, and if time permits we can come back to these meditations. So moving on to chapter 11, is the universal form, or Krishna says Vishwarupa Darshan. And Prabhupada, he gives this summary of this 11th chapter. I hope everybody's with me because I'm not showing any slides, PowerPoint slides or anything. So I hope everybody's listening very carefully. So in the universal form, thank you. So this is the summary.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah,
We
thank
are
you,
listening.
Mataji. And in the universal form, Srila Prabhupada gives the summary that Lord Krishna grants Arjun divine vision and reveals his spectacular, unlimited form as the cosmic universe. Thus, he conclusively establishes his divinity. Krishna explains that his own all beautiful human-like form is the original form of Godhead. One can perceive this form only by pure devotional service. So, conclusively establishing his divinity is the purpose of this chapter, because Krishna gives the Vishwarup Darshan. And this chapter is very interesting because we can see there are different layers of how Krishna is revealing this. And if you see the structure, first Arjuna requests Krishna to show his universal form, and we know that he is so humble that he says, I may not be qualified to see, but if you think, Krishna, that I am in even in a small qualified, then please make me qualified, give me the divine vision so I can see what you are going to show. But if you think that I'm not really qualified, it's okay. No, he's so humble like that. But then Krishna agrees and he gives the divine vision to Arjuna. And then first Krishna himself describes his own his own universal form. And then Sanjaya starts speaking. He describes what Arjuna is seeing, what Arjuna's vision is of the universal form. And then there are shlokas that talk about Arjuna Uvacha, when Arjuna starts talking about his own experience, what he is seeing in the universal form. And then Krishna says ultimately that I am time. He starts speaking about how he has the cause of everything, and how Arjuna is just the nimitta matra. And then finally Arjuna praises Krishna. He glorifies Krishna. So the interesting point is how Sanjaya is describing Arjuna's vision, because is Sanjaya actually seeing the universal form? Because Krishna says that nobody had seen this universal form before, and nobody will see it unless I give them the vision. And Krishna says that yes, there may be some devatas up in the Swargaloka who are able to see right now with us, but other than that, how Sanjaya is able to see and describe to Dhritarashtra was Arjuna is seeing as universal form. So for that, I will point out to the purport of Srila Prabhupada at the very end of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, where the last four shlokas of Sanjaya, his experience that he is describing to Dhritarashtra uh, after this whole dialogue is ending between Krishna and Arjuna. And what he is saying that now I have to really look at the exact verse here. I'm sorry, I'm going to take a little while. So our Sanjay at the very end, in the 77th verse in the 18th chapter, says that Tats cha samsmritya rupam adbhutam hare vismayo me mahan rajan rishrami cha puna puna. He says, O king, O Dhritarashtra, as I remember the wonderful form of Lord Krishna, I am struck with wonder more and more, and I rejoice it again and again. So he's talking about the Rupam Adbhutam Hare. He's talking about the wonderful form of Krishna that was the universal form. And Srila Prabhupada mentions here that it appears that Sanjaya also, by the grace of Vyasa, who is a spiritual master, who has given him the vision to see what is happening in the Kurukshetra war and then describing it to Dhritarashtra, he's empowered by his Guru Maharaj, Vyasadev, to have this vision and see what's happening on Kurukshetra. Right? So Prabhupada says that it appears that Sanjaya also, by the grace of Srila Vyasadev, could see the universal form of Krishna exhibited to Arjuna. It is, of course, said that Lord Krishna had never exhibited such a form before, and it was exhibited to Arjuna only. And yet, some great devotees could also see the universal form of Krishna when it was shown to Arjuna, and Vyasa was one of them. So, Vyasadeva was actually viewing the universal form as it is while it was being exhibited by Krishna to Arjuna. And because Vyasadeva had blessed Sanjaya, he was also able to have that vision momentarily of the universal form. And that's how he was able to describe it to Dhritarashtra. So Vyasadeva disclosed this to his disciple Sanjaya, who remembered that wonderful form of Krishna exhibited to Arjuna and enjoyed it repeatedly. So that again clarifies sometimes the doubt that we may have in our mind about what is happening exactly. So it's the divine vision given to Arjuna to see the form by Krishna, but it's the divine vision given to Sanjaya by Vyasadeva, because Vyasadeva was one of the audience, one of the witnesses to the universal form exhibition by Krishna right at that moment. So this is the explanation. And what else can we see from this chapter? 836. I would like to point out to the verses there. They're spoken by Arjuna at the end of the 11th chapter, because he is glorifying Krishna, and that glorification can be a part of our daily prayer, our daily meditation on Krishna, where, for example, Arjuna says that Tvam Adi Devaha Purushaha Puranas Tvamasya Vishwasya Param Nidhanam Vettasi Vedyam Cha Param Cha Dhama Tvaya Tatam Vishwamananta Rupam. You are the original personality of Godhead, the oldest, the ultimate sanctuary of this manifested cosmic world. You are the knower of everything, and you are all that is knowable. You are the supreme refuge above the material modes. O limitless form, this whole cosmic manifestation is pervaded by you. So when we are in trouble, when we are sad, when we are struggling with things that are going on in our lives, sometimes these verses, these words can really come to our help when we say, Krishna, you are the knower of everything. Vettasi Vedyam. Chaparam Chadhamo, you are the supreme refuge. And we can say, you can say to Krishna, obeisances to you from the front, from behind, from all sides. You, O unbounded power, you are the master of limitless might. You are all pervading, and thus you're everything. So it's not just that we repeat these words. Of course, we take help of these divine words that are spoken by Arjuna and some of these speech that directly coming from Krishna's lotus mouth. But at the same time, these verses, we can use them for meditation, our own meditation, in our own words, as our own dialogue with Krishna. The very personal connection, Krishna saying, when we sit down for chanting, either before chanting, during chanting, we have a dialogue going on with Krishna. And based upon these verses, we can tell Krishna what is there that right now you're going through, and then tell Krishna how he's the knower of everything, he's the refuge of everything, he's the most powerful one who can make changes to bring solace to devotees and to take them out of very painful situations that are created by people who are not in a good mode. They are in the mode of passion and ignorance. So, we can make use of these verses that Krishna has used. Some of these verses in the 10th chapter, also very beautiful glorification of Krishna. So we can make use of these verses. And then in the 12th chapter, which is the most dear to most of the devotees because it's directly the devotional service or Bhakti Yoga. Uh, Srila Prabhupada describes that this is the Bhakti Yoga devotional service. Bhakti Yoga, the pure devotional service to Lord Krishna, is the highest and most expedient means of attaining pure love for Krishna, which is the highest end of spiritual existence. This is the Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is the highest end of spiritual existence. Those who follow this supreme path develop divine qualities. So that's the summary that Srila Prabhupada mentions. And really, this chapter gives us so much hope, because many of us, some of us are really, born in Vaishnava families, and we have seen Krishna puja, Krishna bhakti right from the beginning of our lives, but many of us have not. And we join in the middle, somewhere in the middle of our lives, and we find devotees and we join, and then we struggle, then sometimes we sometimes even in our minds we compare, like, oh, this is so great that other person is doing this, but I don't know where I am I doing enough, when will I be able to do what other people are doing? So all these questions come to our minds. And this chapter, you just open it and you see how Krishna has given the hierarchy, and you feel, okay, relief. Okay, doesn't matter, it doesn't matter, because Krishna knows where I am standing, and Krishna knows how I'm climbing my journey on. And Krishna is very kind, he's acknowledging everything that I'm doing. even the smallest service, he's acknowledging, because he has given this in the Bhagavad Gita 12th chapter. He says a very high standard, like, oh, first of all, my Maye Mamana Adastva, right? Where is that? Mayi Buddhim Niveshaya. Nivasishyasi Mayeva Ata Urdham Nasamshaya. That just fix your mind upon me, engage your intelligence in me, and live in me. All is without a doubt. Okay, that's a very high standard. My mind goes here and there. My intelligence is always not based on Krishna. It has so many, I have to achieve so many, accomplish so many things in life, and sometimes I forget Krishna. Krishna says it doesn't matter, because what you do is just a sadhana bhakti. And again, Srila Prabhupada has given us this whole program. Krishna says that if you can't fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. And in that way, develop a desire to attain me. So our journey most of the times is just to create and to cultivate a desire to become a devotee of Krishna. And in that process, we do become devotee of Krishna to the extent we can. And then Krishna appreciates that, whatever level. And we still are called devotees. We are devotee in progress, like they call work in progress. So we are work in progress in Bhakti Yoga. So Krishna says very clearly that don't worry, is just follow the regulative principles. And Prabhupada has given us this whole program: chanting, reading the books, devotee association, eating prasadam, doing service with your mind, body, words, and just creating um, the atmosphere, creating the ideal Vaishnava behavior, right? So that's all we have got to do. And in the recently, I heard Chaitanya Charan Prabhu say, "Don't tell me what you believe, show me how you behave." So that's something in the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga, right? So it's not that we learn the philosophy and we give class on the philosophy, and the more class we give, the more we are known to people. It's not like that. Show me how you behave. And that's what is Bhakti Yoga's sadhana bhakti that Krishna has given to us. And then he says, if you can't do that, just try to work for me. So there are many devotees in our in congregation. They like to serve, they are there. I mean, in their heart, they're very connected to Krishna, but they may not be able to do XYZ, what the other people are doing. And that's okay, because they're working from Krishna. And one day they're going to get there, because Krishna has given this plan very, very generously, very kind. He says that even if you're not able to work, just try to understand who you are with the help of some of the philosophy that's given to you, and cultivate the knowledge. Become more confident in this knowledge so that you may be able to practice in a more meaningful way later on. And as Prabhupada mentions, that the whole purpose of this program of Bhakti Yoga that Krishna gives, step by step, hierarchical way, is only to develop divine qualities. And that happens. We all have experienced in this Sangha. People have come far so much. They become wonderful people. They have so many qualities like tolerance, patience, reducing their anger. And all of us experience that even in family lives, even though uh, nobody knows what we do in our family lives. But uh, we ourselves know that maybe 10 years ago when we joined the sadhana bhakti, what kind of anger, frustration, or hankerings we used to exhibit, and now where we are. So it's our own mm, examination by ourselves that we do, and we really find that yes, I am developing some good qualities. And that's why Krishna elaborately describes some of these qualities, so we can actually compare and see how much we are progressing in terms of those qualities. So it's a very, very practical philosophy or practical theology. So Krishna says that you become, actually, there's a whole big list, and we can just take a look at the list instead of going through the verses, and see where we are in terms of those qualities. And so on. So Krishna says, do not envy other people, become friendly to all, be kind and merciful to all, then become free from the sense of proprietorship, me and mine. Become free from false ego and identification with the body. We learn all the time, I'm not the body, I'm the soul, but then we don't remember when it's pain, right? So, or when it comes to your, somebody is trying to take away something from you. No, no, this is mine. So, like that. So, Krishna says that become free from false ego and reduce your concept of body. Then become equal in happiness and distress. This is very important. Krishna says that samadukha sukha kshami. Become forgiving, become tolerant, and become equipoise in happiness and distress, especially with children. When we, it could be another class actually, when we develop children in Krishna consciousness, and we sometimes we join in the middle. Like already my child is like 5 years old or 10 years old, and I join Krishna consciousness. And very soon I start expecting from my child, oh, the child should also be a devotee. The child also should behave in a particular way. But we are so impatient. We are so unforgiving. We don't realize that the child has been born with a particular background already, that we created that background for the child, and now we are in Krishna consciousness, that we want the child to immediately convert into Krishna consciousness. And that may not be the journey of the child, but we become so impatient because we're comparing ourselves with other children's, other Matajis, other Prabhujis. Their children are so good, why mine is not good? And so this quality, that samadukha sukha kshami, and no, samadukha sukh, sorry, samadukha sukha and kshami, like become equipoised in happiness and distress, and become forgiving and tolerant. Then Krishna says, you become self-controlled, determined, yatatma and dranishchaya. That is the sadhana bhakti, right? Where we need the self-control and determination. Then it says, Mayarpita mano buddhir, mind and intelligence fixed on me. At least while when we are doing service, at least when we are doing, say, for example, garlands, we are cooking for Krishna, we can at least try to put our mind and intelligence in there, right? If not other times. Then Krishna says, don't agitate anybody with your speech. Try. I mean, there's a whole big, again, explanation as to how we not able not agitate others, because there are times in our lives when we have to speak loud, and sometimes in the office there is politics and this and that. So there could be a skill that we can develop, not in this class right now, but some other time. But Krishna says that do not agitate, that no one should be agitated by you, and you should not be agitated by others. So there's a internal journey, when we do sadhana bhakti, externally there may be so many things that we have to do, we are compelled to do because of life, but there is always an internal journey, and that journey is very personal, very, very personal between you and Krishna. And there you should not become agitated, you should not agitate others, because that peace of mind which is inside will reflect outside, and it will help you um, deal with other people, because that's again a quality, that's a skill, and it's a divine skill that will develop as you develop your chanting and reading. And I had read in another book, in the Padma Purana, I think there is a explanation that as you associate with the person, you absorb their qualities. So if you're associating with worldly minded people, mm, you will absorb their qualities. If you're associating with Srila Prabhupada while reading his books, then you will automatically absorb the devotional mood of Srila Prabhupada. And as you're reading Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the divine qualities that Krishna is mentioning for his devotees, you will absorb them slowly but surely. So in the nectar of instruction also you'll find some information on this point. Then Krishna says that you remain neutral. Mm. Anapeksha, Suchir Daksha. This is neutral, devoid of all expectations from your work, as we spoke about the children some time ago. Then you remain expert and skillful in all situations. You develop that skill, like especially for Mataji, we have seen we don't know how to cook for even 10 people. And when Mataji's come for Sunday feast cooking, for the devotee, not for the Sunday feast cooking on the other side, the devotee kitchen, they are so expert. They are making sabzi for 300 people, like put the salt like that. How do you do that? Because you're developed the skill, because you're absorbed in mind and intelligence in Krishna, and Krishna is giving you that wisdom to become expert to make sabzi for 300 people in half an hour. So that is how you can become Suchir and Daksha. So then Krishna says that na shocati na kangshati. Do not lament or do not desire because of that internal journey that's going on. Externally, you do all the duties. Srila Prabhupada is a great example. He did all the duties, whatever necessary for his children, for his wife. Internally, it's a totally different journey, that he was not lamenting because his children didn't do this or that, his wife didn't do this or that. He was not desiring that my child will become this, then I'll become the grandfather and I'll take care of my grandchildren. None of those desires. So no lamentation, no desire inside. Externally, doing everything that is needed as a part of our karma. Then Krishna says that renounce all auspicious and inauspicious things. Shubha Shubha Parityagi. And there, what we can understand from this is um, the material religiosity, the rituals that we do, saying that, oh, this is good, this is, we have to do this because this Shubha Mangala. Okay, you do it um, so long as it helps you uh, absorb in Krishna, so long as it helps you pray to Krishna. Yes, but otherwise, do not go into superstition. That you have to, of course, sometimes we have to do because our tradition, our family tradition has some rules and regulations. We may follow them because we have to keep people happy, but internally we are not necessarily making this as auspicious or inauspicious, because we are renouncing all in the name of Krishna in his bhakti. And let's see if any other qualities. Equal to friends and enemies. I don't know about that. It's hard, right? Sama Shatraucha Mitrecha. So again, outside there could be, inside there could be. So inside we are developing the vision that everybody is Krishna's soul, Krishna, part of Krishna, and everybody may be forgiven, everybody may be given wisdom, everybody may be guided from inside by Krishna. That could be a prayer. In that way, we can see our enemies also part of Krishna and be equal to them spiritually. And materially also, I'm not qualified to comment on how can we be equal to our enemies, but so then also very interesting, tatha manapamanayoho shitoshna sukha dukkheshu. So we are equipoised in all dualities. A kind of repetition when we saw earlier that how we can be um, equipoised in joy and distress, fear, anxiety, right? Krishna had said that harsha bhayodvegair mukto ya sachame priyaha. He says, Krishna says, equipoised in joy and distress, fear and anxiety. And here also same thing, kind of similar, that we are equipoised in all dualities. Tatha manapamanayoham. Honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress. And very important, sama sanga vivarjita, always free from contaminating association, which is not helpful in our bhakti, in remembering Krishna. Give up that association, you don't need it. Um, then similar thing, tulya nindastutir moni, equal in criticism and praise, and satisfied with whatever comes on your way, like santushto yena kenachit. So we have started this journey either at the beginning or the middle of our lives, and whatever comes on our way as a fruit of bhakti from Krishna, we should be satisfied, because we know that it's not cheap. It's not that I should be able to become a great sadhu just in next 2 years or maybe next 10 years before I leave the body, whatever may be the time that we have been left. It's not that. Maybe I'm in the middle. And just to accept that I'm a work in progress could be a lot of relief to us from the stress that I have to become something, before I. So it's not like that. Krishna says that be satisfied with whatever comes to your way, either materially or spiritually. And then at the end, Krishna says, Bhaktiman me priyo naraha. Such a devotee will become dear to me. So all this we are doing just to please Krishna, just to make Krishna happy. So then Krishna is saying that this will make me happy. So we have to do it, right? Because Krishna is very clear that such a devotee is dear to me. And he not only says, but he says that ye tu dharmamrutam idam yat yathoktam paryupasate shraddhadana mat parma bhaktas bhaktaste ativa me priya. Those who follow this path with faith and making me as the supreme goal, such devotees are very, very dear to me. Ativa Priya. So that is something we have to remember all the time, that I have to become dear to Krishna. Krishna is dear to me. I know I'm learning how I love Krishna. But how can Krishna love me? How can Krishna feel that, oh, this person is so dear to me? That is our sadhana bhakti. So I think I should stop here. I hope it was useful and something that we can take home today and meditate upon, because these are especially the meditative chapters. So Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granth Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
Thank you very much, Mataji, for
Thank you.
covering the reflections, instructions. Anyone has questions for Mataji or comments? Yeah, like not. Thank you very much. Okay.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Head. Head.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you for a wonderful class. So many lessons I learned, Mataji. Mataji, like if we are in devotee association, so like always we feel like, oh yeah, we are near to Krishna and near to the devotee's heart, like that. So if we are like moved to the material world, like if we go to the work or sometimes, like that atmosphere is totally different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes it's very hard to remember like what we are learning in the Gita and what we are practicing in our sadhana, and like it's it's for myself it's very difficult to remember always Krishna, like we are practicing, right? Like everybody says, like in devotees and Prabhupada books also says we have to always remember Krishna, but in if we go in material world, it's very difficult to, for myself it's very difficult to remember all the time. So like what is the solution for that, Mataji?
Solution is only abhyas, which is means practice. So Krishna says, especially for the mind in the 6th chapter, right? Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyana, that verse. So abhyas and detachment, abhyas and vairagya. Krishna says, keep practicing. So that means there's a scope for um, sometimes not being able to remember Krishna. And that exactly is practice, that the child is learning to walk, falls down 100 times and get up and then walk again, fall down, get up and walk again. But one day the child is able to walk. So the only thing, again, I would say a lot of importance to the internal journey, because I know the world is crazy, we have to do so many things, but internally we have to always develop that Krishna's remembrance. And that's possible. Our mind can think multitasking. We do all the time multitasking, right? Do you do multitasking?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes.
I'm
And
doing now also. Like
now also.
I'm
And just
hearing.
what are you doing now?
I'm cooking and I'm hearing.
So are you missing anything? No, because your mind is enough what they call e- um mm, I mean, I'm saying that Krishna has given us a mind which is smart enough to do multitasking. When we are driving so many times, sometimes you're talking, and
Yeah.
are we missing any signal? No, because even though we are talking intense, we still know. So my point is, we have a potential. My mind has a lot of potential, and we have to develop that potential, that in the midst of distress, in the midst of chaos, how can I still remember Krishna on the side? Can we forget that, when you go to the office, do you forget your child's name or your child's needs? Do you forget that?
No,
You
Mataji.
don't. You still
No.
remember. Exactly.
Yeah.
So same thing. We just don't know how to do it right now, 100% like with full expertise, but we just have to develop it, that in the midst of, and observation, like sometimes we see people are like so mean in the office, they're doing politics, they're doing the best of the worst of their behaviors, and in my mind I'm thinking, oh look, Krishna, this is how it is, this is the world. So it's all internal thought process. That's only answer I have. I don't know what else other answer can be given, but
Thank you, Mataji. Yes, like like whatever we are doing for like ourselves or like our family, we never forget, right? Like
Yeah,
in
never.
in case like our kids
Yeah,
never forget. So same thing we can practice for like
absolutely.
Krishna too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you,
And in the
Mataji.
family also, I don't know if you really struggle sometimes in the family, but we cannot change anybody.
That's
It's
true.
only our personal bhakti. We are only doing it for ourselves. I'm not gonna make this person, that person change their behaviors. No, if they change, that's fine. That's between them and Krishna. So that gives us a lot of relief, and then we can focus on our own thing, honestly speaking.
Thank you so much, Mataji. It's
You're
helps.
welcome. Hare
Yeah.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So I think we can end here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Pranam.
Quick announcements. I think
Yes.
if no one else has questions. Anyone else has a question? iPhone. Okay. Please join for Sunday feast program today. Last Sunday of this year. And then 5:30 to 9 p.m. December 31st, New Year Eve program is there as well from 7 p.m. to midnight. Please join that program as well. And the next upcoming Ekadasi, January 9th, is the Vaikuntha Ekadasi, very important Ekadasi, prominent Ekadasi, I would say. Putrada Ekadasi, also it is called. So, fasting from grains. It is Thursday, it's a weekday. On New Year Day, you can chant as many rounds as possible. You can join in person at temple and do so if possible. So those are the upcoming announcements. I think February 10th is Nityananda Trayodasi. Plan now and execute it that day. So if you plan now, then we can do it nicely. So March and we'll have Gaur Purnima, but first is Nityananda Trayodasi. Let us plan for it. Have 1 month plus time to plan and execute it.
Prabhu, what date can you repeat?
I think it's February 10th, Thursday. I'll post it. I think February 10th, Thursday. I think it's a weekday. Most of them weekdays, except Janmashtami, Radhashtami is weekend this time, Saturday, Sunday. Otherwise, most of the festivals, Gaur Purnima is also on weekday. February 10th. It's New Year. I think December 31st is also some appearance of Loknath Goswami or something. Hold on. Tell you now. December 31st is Lochandas Thakur's appearance. December 28th, yesterday, that is okay. Then February is 10. Yep, February 10th, Monday. It's not Thursday. Monday is Nityananda Trayodasi, fasting till now. Day before is Varaha Dwadasi as well. So Sunday, Varaha Dwadasi, and before is Ekadasi. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 3-day event, you can say. 8th February, 9th February, and 10th February. So, yeah. Advaita Acharya is before February 4th, Tuesday. So 1 week after that, I would say. Yeah. Anyway, please note it down. February 10th, Monday, is Nityananda Trayodasi. Let us plan what services we can do, how we can celebrate in terms of the Dharma, Kirtan, many things. So Sunday school team also, let us plan and see how we can present, various aspects. Let us look at it. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for your kind association. We'll stop here. Achakalpatarabhyasya. Vaishnava Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki jai. Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.